over to you, Paul, for your case study.
Great. Thanks for having me, Henry. Today I'd like to talk about my case study, my last 8 weeks, what I have done next to my current product role, and what was my experience. And yeah, let's jump into it. First, I would like to share the principles which with them I'm working. The first principle is learning as fast as possible. It's one of my main principles. If we learn faster than our competitors or others, we have a big advantage in the market, and we know better what are the real customer pains and how we can solve them. How to achieve it is to be outcome focused instead of output focused. It means we are focused on delivering real value and not something instead of it. And how we do it is to be problem focused or not solution focused, to focus on real customer problems. And there are the way to do this is hypothesis driven, to create hypothesis about our potential customers and niches, then go on with some experiments, and it depends on the results. Probably it will end up in a feature, or we iterate again and again to find what is the real value. Also important is to be data driven in the decision process. It's very important to collect data and be data driven KPIs and stuff like that, that we have a mostly objective decision process. And for the working process, it's also important to be framework based and not to gain decisions, which means we're not opinion based. We focus on the frameworks, we use them every time, iterate, and then we are finding the right solutions. But let's step deeper into it. What was the process I practiced this 8 weeks? First, there was an idea, as always. Then we started with discovery calls to engage with our niche, to talk with them. And after that, if there are some resonance on one specific topic, to offer them a minimum viable offer. And I looked as well on the differentiation, what are other competitors offer for customers, and how I can add more value and different from their solutions. And I was going on with experiment with a no-code solution, and then I got in touch with potential clients and talked with them about the solution and the product market fit score I evaluated there. So I would like to share with you some of the hypotheses. One of them was sell your property by your own is a really acute problem. Normally, people are doing that not that often in their life, just 1 or 2 times. And there's just 2 possible ways: do it by your own, or engage or hire a real estate agent, and they are really expensive in our market. 4 to 8% of the whole value of the property. So I started with some user interviews, but it was not that easy because I didn't have the customers, and I got in touch with them over different ways. I also wrote some Facebook posts to get in touch with them and to talk with them if this is really a acute problem or not. And I cold call a lot of sellers, 12 sellers, which offered the property by their own, to talk about what was their struggle, what was the process, how good they feel with it, and stuff like that. And there I get a lot of reactions of them, and they talked with me quite long. I just phoned them on Sunday. Can we talk a bit about your property? I don't want to sell you anything. I just want to learn from you. How was the process? What was the good things, and what was where were potentials in the process? And they always told me they just decided to do it by their own because the real estate agents are too expensive for the services which they are offer, and that's the main hustle of what they have. And there's no service between a real estate agent hiring and do it completely by your own. But if they had the decision to do it by their own or spend 30,000 euros for a real estate agent, they decided to do it by their own, but their confidence level was not really high in their decisions. So here are two of my problem statements. With the first problem statement, I failed and I iterated one or two more times to get to the second one. The first problem statement sounds nice for me, but my niche was not interested at all in it. So I decided to go on and to test the next problem statement, that property sellers are currently frustrated by the sales process, and their ideal situation is to be guided in the whole process and spend 80% less compared to hire a real estate agent. And with this statement, I had to go on and formulated a minimum viable offer. Property sales for privates without commission by guidance to the whole process. And I set it up some OKRs to validate if it's a good offer or not. So I built it first time in my life, a landing page with Bubble.io and linked it with a survey to talk with them. And also I integrated that they can book slots to talk with me, that I get more insight of them, what they really need to solve their problems. So that was my first landing page here in German, because I entered the German market with a little offer statement and some details what exactly I will offer them. So first, the first 3 points. You know, I got a few reactions of it, but it was really hard to find my potential customers without marketing budget and stuff like that, because normally selling a property, you do it just 1 or 2 times in life, and it's not a daily use product, yeah, but a really interesting product because you can monetize it greatly. And then I had a look what other competitors there are in the market with the blue ocean canvas, and I had a look about the differentiation potential which I have, and what is the real struggle and what I can do better compared to other offers, because there are offers in the market, but probably not all fits to the potential customers. And there I had to see that autonomy is a great point, and how they can go with their own decisions and be confident in their decisions is a great way to add more value to our customers, and the freedom of choice and some other stuff. So it was really helping me to see how I can create the best value compared to other solutions. That was my product vision. After that, property sale by your own with high confident decisions. It was based on the blue ocean canvas and the discovery calls, because in the discovery calls, all guys told me it's really hard if they are not sure if they took the right decisions in the process. They was not really sure, is it the right price, what they set up, are they are they doing the marketing right, and what's about the contracts after that and stuff like that. So there was never a high confidence in their decisions. The next step was to build a real offer for my niche, that I can test if not just the landing page resonates with my niche, or also if I can offer there some services and gain feedback about the services. So I started to map the different steps which my customers can have to take to get a result and to get value for them. So I started with a Figma to build the first incremental from my solution, that they can create easily a high quality expose for the sale offer of their property. So my OKRs was to have a full functional no-code application, to find the first beta testers, and to measure the product market fit engine. It works quite well to measure it. I learned a lot. I learned especially I have to find more beta testers, and I can focus on a little piece. It's too much the high quality expose. They was especially really happy about the option that I organize all the documents they need for the sale process, and they don't have to do nothing about it. That was also a great value, and probably it's possible to start just with this point and add then more features and more functionality afterwards. So that's the point where I stay at the moment. I'm really happy that I have done this experience, and happy to share and use all the frameworks and the fast iteration process in my current product role.
Awesome. So I'll try video again. We'll see how the internet goes. Really nice presentation, actually. Let's talk to you. So sorry, what would you say are the specific learnings then from the prototype? You mentioned like the document organizer. So would you now, let's say, reduce down and just focus on that key feature?
Yeah. First there, I started with a big solution, a big idea, what I can do, and it would be great to disrupt the whole market and do a big product. And now I'm focused on a little increment, and it adds a lot of value for potential customers. They are happy, and that was my favorite way to learn in this little increment how to do it in the best way, and then to find customers for the solution.
Yeah. I mean, it's such a good, it's a really powerful learning, because I think you suddenly realize, as with everything, you need to experience it. You realize actually a lot of the time it's just like do one feature really well. You keep improving that rather than adding 2 or 3, 4. Yeah, I mean, also again, it's a thing of a game of patience as well. It's how do you? Yes, there's the need, right, for maybe 3 or 4 big features that you might do. And yes, that might make your product better, but it's about being strategic and saying, right, we can, we're just going to focus on this one thing. Once we achieve some good results there, then we can start, moving along the next few steps with it as well. Nice, that's really cool to see, actually. Awesome. So Pat, I'll give you feedback now on the case study, and then sort of general thoughts, and then just talk about, I think, next steps as well, where you want to go with this. So I think first in the principles, I think really nice to see that you made these your own. I think it's super important to just be very clear about like how you want to do product. So the more senior you are, say for example, at some point you move company, you want to come in with principles, like share those really clearly, like get people on board with how you want to do product. So I like things that you're talking about, let's move quickly. This is a good advantage over competitors. Makes sense. And you're also putting it in terms that make sense to the team and stakeholders as well. Second one, I think generally just a very good flow, like from the principles into the process, into the your first experiment, these kinds of things are very good. On the problem validation, really nice work here. I was really happy with the the Facebook groups you did. You were posting, you did cold calls. Nobody does cold calls, but it's the most effective way to get a hold of people still. So I think that was really good to see. On the problem statement, good. I think particularly when you're pitching this internally, showing why what you're implying, and actually you can say this more directly, I think, if you say you're pitching to stakeholders, is you were very clear on, okay, I've learned this thing, this didn't work, but this next one worked, right? You had the plus and the big plus and the minus. Excellent. I think what you could do is put that in, quantify that more. So it's like, here's this thing that didn't work. Last year, we probably would have pursued that with like 6 developers and a product owner, and ended up spending a year and 400,000 euros on a wasted idea. So showing like it's so valuable just doing these initial conversations, because it means we close down a direction that doesn't make sense. So I think you could reinforce that even more next time. On the USP, I really, this is a great example where you were obviously onto a good idea initially, so that everything flowed really well in terms of like results you're getting. So this thing of sort of USP around sort of spending 80% less with a real estate agent. I think we always said this right from week one. I think you had a very good, clear idea of what the gap in the market would be. On the MVO, yeah, I thought this was good. I think with the MVO, it's really important, obviously not to me, but to people in your team to explain like, what is it and why are we doing it? Because it's easy to go like, we did an MBO and we tested it. It's like, well, what is an MBO? Like, what is the objective of it? So I think being really clear that it's about, we're validating where on a high level, like what we should be doing, right? Where's the value in the market? And then we're trying to get the signal like this thing is valuable. And then we start going, okay, cool. Right? We know that's where we need to go. Now we can be flexible actually with the solution, as long as we're always remembering to deliver this value. I think it's a different approach that you have to educate people, introduce the subject, educate, repeat, reinforce this kind of topic and this kind of thinking. But you are saying that you did talk through this. You talked about difficulties validating, completely fair, like not having a budget, the fact that people only make the decision once or twice in a lifetime makes it really hard to find them. Which is great again, because what you're doing, imagine you're pitching this as an initiative in a company. You're basically saying like, here's definitely an opportunity here, but we need resources to go and work out what we should do there. So it makes complete sense there. Blue Ocean, good. I mean, this is always very strong. Actually, was good. You also talked through the existing offers and sort of highlighted they're not quite covering everything here, like autonomy, confidence, these kinds of topics. And then coming back to our first point, PMF, yeah, really good learnings. I think, good to see you put the process in practice, but I think for you to get that realization, because I think, it's something that took me like 5 years to realize that actually it's really about stripping things down and just doing a few things really, really well. I think once you learn that, it's like a superpower. I think it makes you way, way, way more effective with product. Good as well, the more testers. Yeah, I think that's definitely a challenge, right? In your case, like how do you get a steady stream of people looking to sell their house? But it comes with time as well. If you're going to establish a business, you probably have some sort of educational funnel with free content, so you're getting people in at the right time. So all things. And then this again is the beauty of, I think, the program is you see the building blocks that you would need here. Right, you need some sort of like acquisition funnel here to like warm leads up, bring them into the funnel. You'd need, you need a good UX designer because you're going to have a lot of like document uploads, account creation, all of these sort of fiddly features. Sorry. So I think really, really good to sort of get. That's why I really like when people go through to the PMF engine, because you see exactly like what you would be doing next. And it's very powerful. Good, and then I think general comments from my side. I think really honestly a pleasure to have you on the program. I think every session you come with like a good energy, our one-on-ones, the group sessions. I think that's more important than you think as a leadership quality as well, because it's like say you're launching a new product. If you follow this lean process, you have way more failures that you see then, because you're not ignoring what you're working on. So I think being the person that comes into a room and like brings energy and like, gets everyone to sort of relax and be open, it's really, really important. So I think keep that, I'm sure you do that in your company already, but like do keep doing that. And second one, I love the cold call. I think it just shows such like perseverance and like grit for actually picking up the phone to somebody. You don't need to do that. It's very easy not to do it. I think really good putting yourself out there, doing things differently. Again, ultimately, that's what's going to make you stand out as a product leader. It's like being the one that goes that little bit further. I think the only thing I would say to maybe something to think about, two things to think about is one thing I did feel is that you knew this. I felt like you had a good idea of this problem space and like what you might do already. I would say if you do this process again, I'm sure you will, because it's just quite fun. So everybody starts exploring ideas. I would say just really put yourself out of your comfort zone and look at something that you have no idea about, like a market you just have no idea about. I think that would be useful just to go through all of the thought process again, completely from scratch. So that would be one thing. I think the second thing is also, depends what you want to do in future. But I think one thing would be written English to be improved a bit. Spoken English is good. Just, you know, again, I'm pushing, right, to say, well, how do you get to top level? Because I think, you know, if you end up working at top product companies, it's going to be in the US or even in Berlin, but very international teams. And I think it's small things like, how do you phrase an MBO? How do you phrase a problem statement? Just getting those like details right, I think would be helpful in future. But, you know, again, as I'm looking for things to suggest as improvement. I think generally very good. I suppose final point I'd be interested is like, what do you feel is the next step for you with these learnings? Like, what do you feel you want to like bring into your team, organization?
The next step is to use the frameworks more and fast in an iterating way, and also to involving more the other team members, and that they also can add their value to the process, and I teach them and help them that we are more successful as a complete team, and
Nice.
doing the operational product owner job and more and iterate it faster, and the target is probably to be one of the productive teams in our company. Yeah, that others are looking,
Nice.
oh, what they are doing, which frameworks they are using, and that they are happy to be part in our story. Yeah.
Nice. No, that sounds great. So yeah, exactly. I think just next time, whenever there's discussion about kicking off a new project or even auditing an existing one, then you got to get MBA, right? So what's the problem? Gather people in a room for that, do quick validation, then get your offer together and then validate the offer. I think that kicks everything off in the right direction. And people see the value because it's so fast. And they go, wow, we've actually got this strategy and that clear direction. So I think it's a great way to do it. Awesome. Well, look, Pat, I think it's been, as I said, honestly, been really fun working with you on this, and hopefully we'll see you on some community events in future as well.
Thank you for having me, Henry. It was a great pleasure to work with you the last 8 weeks, and a great course. Yeah.